Why does the Pokemon community hate Charizard? Is a question I've been asking myself ever since I started consuming media on PokeTube or Pokemon YouTube. The answer is very simple from the information I've gathered. Charizard is hated because it's popular. In this video, I will be explaining other minor reasons why Charizard is hated and why it's stupid to hate on it, and also why I personally love Charizard. But before we start, make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment stating your thoughts on this iconic Pokemon. Let's get into the video. Why I love Charizard. I've personally been a Pokemon fan for as long as I can remember. I grew up watching the anime, and my first Pokemon game was Pokemon X. Before I played Pokemon X, though, I watched most of the anime, starting with Pokemon Indigo League. There was one episode from that show that I absolutely loved and would rewatch over and over again. This episode was known as Charmander, the Stray Pokemon. In this episode, Ash finds a stray Charmander who was told by his trainer that he would one day come back for it. Charmander was very loyal and waited weeks on end without the trainer coming back for him. Eventually, Ash convinces Charmander to come with him, and they fight his original trainer. This episode really made me sad as a kid because a really cool fire lizard being rejected by its trainer like an abandoned pet. From that point forward, I loved Charmander and claimed it to be my favorite Pokemon. As I watched more and more of the anime, Charmander evolved into Charmeleon and then Charizard. Charizard was a disobedient Pokemon and Ash had to earn its respect back. One of my favorite Pokemon battles of all time in the anime was Ash's 7th gym badge against a Magmar. Charizard and Magmar fought and it finished it off with its iconic seismic toss. When it came to the games and my love for Charizard, like I said, my first game was Pokemon X. But I didn't know you could get one of the Kanto starters later in the game, so I picked Finnegan as my first ever starter Pokemon. When I arrived at the professor's lab, instead of picking Charmander, I chose Squirtle because it was a water type. I didn't end up finishing that playthrough because I accidentally released my starter Pokemon. Can't be mad at a kid for doing that. My second playthrough, which I actually completed, I decided to go with the weird frog Pokemon as my starter, so I didn't double up on types. Then when I got to the Pokemon Lab, I picked Charmander. The rest of the journey was pretty simple. I steamrolled all of Kalos with a Greninja, Charizard, Lucario, Raichu, Sableye because I thought it looked cool, and Xerneas. Charizard X was a sight for my eyes to behold. So imagine my excitement when I watched the Pokemon anime further and found out that it had another Mega form. Then I got Pokemon Y for my birthday and played through the entire thing all over again, but this time I chose Chessman as my starter and I used Charizard Y as my ace. As a kid, it was really exciting to see my favorite Pokemon get 2 Mega forms while my friend's favorite Pokemons only got 1 or nothing at all. For the first few years of my life that I remember, I lived in Japan. All my friends and I loved Pokemon, and we all had favorites. As a kid, I always wanted to be different, so I asked all my friends who their favorite starter Pokemon were and just favorite Pokemon in general, and none of them liked Charizard. I thought I was special. Little did I know that outside of a little elementary school in Japan, everyone loved Charizard. So now that you understand my backstory with Charizard and Pokemon in general, we can talk about why the Pokemon community so unnecessarily hates it.
There's really not enough words to describe how much I hate this big, orange, stupid, manlit lizard. I hate Charizard. I am so sick of Masada shoving him down my throat once again for the 5 bajillionth time. Every new piece of Pokemon news has to include Charizard. It's Charizard so beloved, so...
Popularity isn't always a good thing for a Pokemon. In the video I just showed, he talked about how Charizard is quote-unquote shoved down our throats. Pause. The main reason for that is how Charizard gets promoted in merch or in games. 2 Mega forms for Charizard is completely unfair. Even though I like the fact that they did it, I can admit it's overkill. Even in Gen 8, Charizard was the only Kanto starter to make it into the base game, and it didn't make it much better that he got a G-Max form. Around this time is where the Charizard hate grew rapidly. Between fans noticing the love for it, and Pokemon YouTubers telling everyone that Charizard is overrated, the hate began to brew. In the anime, Ash's Greninja loses to Charizard. Leon, the world's strongest trainer in the anime, uses a Charizard. It's Charizard this, Charizard that. Charizard everywhere. Everything involved Charizard. Now me, being a massive Charizard fan, I can see the favoritism. Charizard was essentially the Golden State Warriors from 2015 to 2018. He never got left out like other Pokemon did. But is that a bad thing? Short answer, Definitely, but think about it. Why wouldn't Pokemon market their most popular and iconic creation? He outshines even Pikachu. I don't think you should hate on Charizard just because he gets a lot of love. That's like hating on a rich person just because you don't have the same amount of money as them. There's no point in focusing on the differences because that's just going to make your life suck more. Instead of saying Charizard sucks because he's Pokemon Company's golden child, you could say Charizard may get way more love and favoritism than my favorite Pokemon, Shuckle or whatever, but I shouldn't hate on the Pokemon, I should hate Game Freak. Here's my final message. Like the great T Swizzle once put in her song, don't hate the player, hate the game. Freak. Game Freak. Thanks for watching this video, and if you don't agree with my opinion, leave a comment because I usually read them all. And please like the vid because I don't usually write scripts like this and then read them off, so that would be really appreciated. Until next time.